In our last lesson, we learned about nouns, and let's just recap a few of those things. Nouns, same thing in French as they are in English, person, place, or thing. We have singular nouns, we have plural nouns, so that's all the same. The difference being with French is that every noun in the French language has a gender. It's either feminine or it's masculine, with a few that are invariable. But let's focus on the feminine and the masculine, because that's usually the toughest concept for us to grasp, because we also have nouns that are not living male or female. And remember, marker, le feutre is masculine. Pen, le stylo is masculine. So we've got a multitude of nouns, of course, just like English, and we've got to learn how to acquire this information the easiest way that we can. Just remember, everything is going to have an article attached to it. It's either going to be le, la, or les for my definite articles, or it will be un, une, or des for my indefinite articles. All right, before we get back into that, let me talk to you about our expression il y a in French. In our last video, we talked about the question that everybody needs to know, which is qu'est-ce que c'est? And that the response would be c'est if it's one item, it's or that's, and ce sont if it's more than one item. Another really important phrase that you need to learn right away is the expression il y a. Il y a is the expression for there is or there are. So I could say, il y a un feutre. There is a marker. I could be talking about students.
Needs it.
We see a group of students. Il y a des étudiants. There are students. So that il y a doesn't matter if it's there is or there are, it's the exact same expression. Il, I-L, I, the letter Y, and A, the letter A. Il y a. Écoutez, répétez. Il y a. Il y a. And the negative of il y a, which you've already seen in your welcome. The negative, il n'y a pas. This equals there isn't or there aren't. So two expressions that you want to remember, and then we'll learn another rule in a little bit about that. But let's go back to our nouns. So for our nouns sheet, which you all should have with you, I want everybody to make sure, I know I put the memo when I attach this video, but you're going to make sure that you have this list of nouns that I've created for you. And up on my board, it's got français, anglais, indefinite article, and then the plural. We're going to see how easy it is to go back and forth between using a definite and an indefinite article. Once you know the gender, it's easy. So let's just refresh. Our definite articles are le, la, les. Our indefinite are un, une, des. All right, I've got up on the board the word le café. Le café in English means coffee, or it means like a cafe. I think Starbucks for us probably is the easiest thing, but typically you have an outdoor area and people mingle and stay for a while. It's a very common place in France to go to a cafe. So we don't have so many of them here in Atlanta, but coffee, like I'm drinking a cup of coffee, and cafe, a place to go. So I know that it's masculine. I have le there. So I'm going to take this and I'm now going to use an indefinite instead of a definite. Here is the cafe. the coffee or the cafe, and I'm going to say a café. So un café. And then for plural, I know that most of my nouns in French, when they become plural, I add an S. If my word ends in an S, don't add anything. And then my EAU nouns get an X added to them, and AL, take that AL off and add AUX. All right, I've got un café. I'm going to say les cafés. And I added my S to the word café. La bibliothèque. La bibliothèque means library. So I'm going to put here under anglais, library. And from la bibliothèque, I'm going to make it une bibliothèque. When you're doing this activity by yourself later on, I want you to make sure that you have your notes packet from the last time that we had a video conference. And then the plural, I bet you can figure this out. I'm going to go from une to either les or des. And since I use the definite, I recommend that you switch off. Do definite, then indefinite, then definite, then indefinite. I'm not going to require you to do it one way or another. That's just my opinion to help you get used to both of them. So here I'm going to put des bibliothèques. And I've written a little bit too big, so I'm squeezing it in here. But you have your columns and you'll be fine. All right, let's do one more, and then we'll stop doing this, and we're going to go through the écouter et répéter, and I'm going to give you the definition as we're looking. This video is going to be embedded in a PowerPoint where you'll have these terms for you to look at as you're doing them to help you. L'acteur, actor. English. L'actrice, and let's change it. L'acteur, I'm going to say it's masculine. Un acteur. And then plural, going back to my definite, les acteurs. Did you hear that? I did my liaison, les acteurs. That becomes a Z sound. L'actrice is an actress. Two different words in English as well. And I'm going to go from feminine, definite, to the indefinite. Une actrice. And then I'm going to say des actrices. All right, let's go ahead and stop there, and I want you to écouter et répéter. We're going to pick up where we left off with l'actrice, and we're going to écouter, répéter while you're at home, and you're going to fill this in. What I would do is go ahead and do the definition with me, and then go back and do your changing from the definite article to the indefinite article and changing it from singular to plural. So let's begin. We just finished l'actrice. Let's go to l'ami, le copain. And both of those mean friend. Remember the nuance. It's a little bit less of a good friend if you say copain. So, just a slight distinction. Écoutez et répétez. L'ami, la copine. And this is friend, and it's a female. Écoutez et répétez. La librairie. This is your first, what we call a faux ami, false friend. It looks like the word library in English. This is not a cockney. This is the word for bookstore in French. So just be careful. Look up above, la bibliothèque. That's our library. La librairie, I'm going to buy a book there. Écoutez et répétez. L'étudiant, l'étudiante. And that's a student. No, I put the parentheses with the E, and that's because you'd add that for a female. Écoutez et répétez. L'élève. L'élève is a pupil, and it's either one when you're using this, but you would distinguish it with une élève or un élève. There you would make that distinction. Le lycée. Le lycée, remember, is high school. Le collège. That's your middle school. Le professeur. Le prof. La prof. All of those mean professor or teacher. Le petit ami. Le petit ami is your boyfriend. La petite amie is girlfriend. Le bureau. Le bureau, remember, is your desk that a teacher or a banker would be at, or in an office, or it is an office space. L'examen, and no, I put M next to it, that's to let you know that it's masculine. L'examen is a test. L'ordinateur. L'ordinateur is masculine as well, and that's your computer. L'objet. That's an object. Le problème. Le problème is a problem. That's a cognate. L'instrument. L'instrument is an instrument. La classe. La classe is a class. Le corps. Le corps is your course. La télévision. La télé. That's our abbreviation. That's why I've got vision in parentheses. La télévision, bien sûr, of course, it is your TV. La faculté. La faculté is your either a faculty member, or it can also be your department within a college. Just a reminder, guys, I know I've told you this, but this textbook is really used at all of the universities in the U.S. It's geared towards college students. So some of the terminology sometimes is not things that we would use. So faculté, that's the head of a department, and it's also your faculty members in a school. La différence. La différence, difference. La chose, thing. L'université, it's feminine, and that's university. La littérature, that's a mouthful because you've got that R in there and so many syllables. Let's try that one more time. La littérature. So that's literature, as in a school subject. La sociologie. La sociologie, that's sociology. Le bureau, and I underline that EAU to give you a clue. Don't forget, EAU words, when you're making them plural, take an X. So, le bureau, we already saw that. Sometimes I repeat, guys. So, then I have l'animal. L'animal, don't forget, AL words, something special in les animaux. It's going to be mostly practicing them. Since you have the les, I want you to go ahead and use an indefinite there. La table. La table is table. Et c'est tout. So you're going to complete this list for yourself. The more practice you do, the easier this will become. Make sure you're paying attention to the PowerPoint as well. Do that écouter et répéter and really get this down pat. It'll help you. Bonne journée, à tout à l'heure. Bon travail. Good work.